Hey, and welcome. I'm so happy to have you join us. I'm here to answer any remaining questions that you might have based on over 20 years now of autism research and recovering my own son from his symptoms of autism, even after I was told it was not possible. And this is something that I know that everybody's level of recovery is different, and the definition of recovery being to regain health. But what I can share with you is that every child at any age can improve and greatly. I have seen it with thousands of parents worldwide that I have helped in this process now. And many have come to me after they have been working with various types of practitioners, therapists, and so many other things, and spending so much money and so many years lost where they hadn't gotten results before. And in my program, they do. So this is where I want to show you the differences and why. If you happen to miss my event that I had a few days ago, and you want to watch the replay where I walk specifically through the 4-stage process that I developed as I recovered my own son and share with other parents now, then please go to naturallyrecoveringautism.com/success. The link is here on the video here as well. Go to that page. If you'd like, watch the 1-hour webinar where I walk through every step of the process, what we cover, because it is an A to Z program. And also, so you know, regardless of what you choose to do, you have the knowledge of how to move forward with your child in the future and actually get results. I cover pieces that are missing in almost every other thing that people have been doing. They come because they have things, foundation hasn't been set up properly. They didn't have strengthening for the detox pathways and toxin binders and all of these other pieces with the right supplements and knowing how to use those supplements. A lot of people are saying, well, I went to a practitioner and they gave me a handful of 13 different supplements and said, go home and start these on with your child today. Well, the child goes just wild, out of control. And I don't know why anybody who is educated, regardless of their lack of knowledge with autism, because it's very specific anyway, and the needs are very sensitive, but why somebody would do that, knowing common sense, that is going to throw them into a spiral. Their detox pathways aren't ready for that. They can't handle it, and it's not safe. So we do this safe and naturally. We start with that gut healing and detox pathway strengthening and strengthen that foundation first. And then we go to stage 2 of my process, which is natural and safe heavy metal detoxification versus using the pharmaceutical drugs. And I talk in my free webinar. It's just 1 hour. Watch it if you missed it. And on that page is the link to join the membership enrollment, which is open right now for a very limited time also. So make sure you join now. I walk through why the pharmaceutical drugs are ineffective and why they can be unsafe and what we do instead. Then there's stage 3, which is clearing the co-infections of autism. We're talking about mold biotoxins. Yes, they damage the brain and multiple systems of the body. We're talking about chronic inflammatory response syndrome as its nickname or other secondary name, because it creates a cascade of inflammation in the body and on the brain. When that happens, the brain, of course, can't function at optimum. We have to clear out these underlying root causes. Then there is also Lyme infection, which mimics the symptoms of autism. These are very commonly missed in testing, as are parasites, which are common with autism. The tests often miss these things, and if they are found, they're worked with improperly and ineffectively. I see it over and over and over. It was even my own personal experience before I did my own research. And then lastly, stage 4, we do clearing the co-infections. I'm sorry, stage 3 is clearing the co-infections. Oh, and we do cover PANS. A lot of parents ask me that. Yes, absolutely, because the immune system gets overactive very easily with children with autism. And you see these behaviors really increase and get worsened. And stage 4 being natural, safe brain support and repair. Now, after you have cleared these co-infections or done a majority of the work, maybe you're still working on them, but the brain is now not just massively impacted by inflammation, and it's got better health. The brain's getting more serotonin from the gut because the gut can make it better. And I talk about this in stage one in the webinar, all of these things that directly affect the brain when we calm them down, when we calm that inflammation down, then the brain can function more at optimum. And then that's when you're going to get more, as I call, bang for your buck with these various types of therapies. And a lot of therapies can even become unnecessary at that point because you'll see what your child still needs. For my son, I removed him from therapies because it was so frustrating for this brilliant young man to, not be able to do things. He said, "Mom, I want to, but I can't. Why can't I?" The focus was so hard. And I thought, this isn't working. And I was spending so much money. So I pulled him out of those therapies, thankfully, which helped him actually. And then we did the work. And it took me a long time because I had to do the research on my own. I found that doctors, therapists, nobody really had any idea what to do. The knowledge wasn't there. And I knew I had to research it for myself. It took me a decade, but today my son's symptoms are completely gone. Now, again, everybody's level of recovery is different, but I have helped nonverbal kids help the parents to walk through the process to bring nonverbal kids to fully speaking, who even one who says she was told by experts that her child would never speak. Today, fully speaking clearly. Others who couldn't focus and concentrate were in special ed classes, weren't able to focus, were afraid of the other kids, now have been moved to the regular classroom and they're on the honor roll. Other now have friends thriving in life. I mean, this is what matters. Helping our kids create the best quality of life possible because we know how to bring them to their full potential by working with these underlying causes. I never had to take my son back to therapies after that because he never needed them anymore after I worked with these underlying causes. So let's find out for your child what their capabilities are when they don't have all of this stuff in their way. And that's what I walk you through in a very, very thorough A to Z step-by-step process in the Naturally Recovering Autism membership program. It is based on almost 20 years of autism research now of my own, and I dig deep. I am a researcher. I have found the best of the best supplements and give you the direct link to purchase them, but only when you need them. So it spreads out the cost because I know the costs of everything with autism are so high that you need those costs brought down and you need to know what to use. You don't want to go out and buy a bunch of supplements. You don't know if they're any good. You don't know how to use them. You don't know when to use them because some of those, the bigger fighters, like the pathogen fighters, when we really target candida and things like that, they can't be used right away. You have to wait until your child's body and their detox pathways are strong enough to process out what's called a die-off reaction. All that when your body's trying to detoxify, but it's detoxifying or releasing toxins too quickly and it can't keep up with the process, then all those toxins back up. And our kids already have enough toxins in the way and their liver, the organ of detoxification, is already backed up. So when these further increase of toxins come in, then you'll see your child can get much worse in behaviors. And you're thinking, this was supposed to help my kid. How come they're so much worse? Because you weren't shown how to do this properly and effectively. I give a step-by-step sequential guide to implementing these. Plus, my background is craniosacral therapy, studying the brain. Now I have over 38 years of doing that. So that background comes to you as well in this program. We want to clean up the home environment. I'm going to show you what to do so you're not having more toxins in your child's environment now. And there's even a bonus guide for that as well that I'm giving you right now when you enroll. There's also, so there's a home environment protection page. There's a page for assisting detoxification along the way, knowing what to do, a little bit of work for lymphatic drainage and learning how to do a few simple things in your own life at home that you can do, not having to go pay somebody to do it, but the knowledge also to what needs to be worked with. Things like that that could be really helpful. A whole page on sensory and stress reduction, could that be helpful? I know how hard it is. I personally know the challenges because I've lived them myself. And now this membership program has been going for 9.5 years. And so with that comes all of the refining and fine tuning that I have been able to do over the years. I have a frequently asked question knowledge base for you, a forum to ask me your questions 24/7 anytime they come up. Who offers that at no extra fee? Your membership fee covers that one price, and it's extremely affordable, basically for about the price of, or actually less than the price of a cup of coffee costs you now per day. You can join this membership program and have access to everything that I offer you. So please go to naturallyrecoveringautism.com/success. Look at everything the program has to offer you and join now. Limited time. The enrollment is open for just a limited time, for just a few days. So I want to make sure that you get in while it is open. And I wanted to look over here and make sure um, that Salma, great to hear all of the issues even being talked about and addressed. Absolutely. I mean, to bring them up, to make sure that you have the knowledge about them, because there's so many pieces that are missed, and that is why your child can be fall short of optimum results that they could have gotten, and or relying on testing that's very expensive, very unreliable, many times for especially things like Lyme and Paris. They can be, have false negatives. And then you think, well, the test said that my child didn't have that. So we didn't think we had to do anything about it. When it's very common that they're missed in those tests, and it did need to be done and it wasn't taken care of. And then if it was found, usually throw in a bunch of, they probably threw just a massive antibiotics at you, right? Well, those are very, very ineffective against most of these pathogens and infections. And that also depletes the gut further of the good bacteria, because the antibiotics are not discriminatory. They'll go in and they will destroy the good bacteria along with the bad. Now, our good bacteria is what keeps our immune system strong, because as you learned in the webinar, and if you missed it, go back to the link on the page here and watch the webinar while it is still available to you. It's just about an hour. It's worth your time. Make sure you watch it if you haven't yet, and join the program before enrollment and the page expire and you miss it and you wish, oh, I wish I had, and now I don't know what to do. Well, I guess I'll try this other practitioner that I've been hearing about. Or, I heard this supplement's good. I know what that is about. And it is exactly why I created this program, because I want to help my community at an extremely affordable rate to be able to support you, give you the right roadmap in an affordable process that also allows you to save the time and the struggle of trying to figure it out on your own and going to all of these different practitioners and therapists and trying supplements that don't work, then and missing out on so many important things. I give you everything thoroughly, A to Z, and you don't want to be falling short of the results that you could have gotten had you known the right things to do and the right sequence to do them in. A lot of people will say, well, I've been doing detox for a long time for my child. What's next? So when you come into the program, there's people I call seasoned. If you're a parent who's had a child that is, maybe it's for the newly diagnosed, but it's also for the parents who have been on their journey for a long time, which, now with 1 in 30 kids diagnosed with autism, which is a scary number, yes, there are so many of these kids starting to grow up, right? They're getting older. Time is of the essence. And I have a lot of parents with older kids coming in. And yes, the program helps at any age. And so they say, I've been on the journey for a while. So where do I begin? Well, right away on the introduction page and on the supplement page, it says where to begin if I've been on this journey for a while and already on some supplements. So right away, there is that guidance for you, because I often find that things weren't done really as thoroughly as maybe you thought they were. And I want to make sure that when you're in my program, it's done right and safe as well as effective. And so we want to make sure that those detox pathways are well supported, that the body is getting the support it needs. We have proprietary organic herbal formulas. We have specialized elixirs with you get a personalized elixir reading for your child's individual needs in the program, all at the same price. Again, about $3 a day, about less than a cup of coffee a day. This is all covered for you in the program. There are no additional fees. You will be buying the supplements that you need as you need them along the way. So that spreads that cost out. And you're not trying to search around the internet or figure it out for yourself anymore. I have searched, I have done the research. I have interviewed most of the owners of most of these companies that they come from. I've checked for their purity, their quality, their bioavailability, their sensitive for the sensitive needs of autism, that they're the best of the best that we need at that particular time for that specific product. And I show you how to use it. Kids with autism are extremely sensitive. We cannot just follow a dosage guideline on a bottle or say, okay, well, this says, my child would need, 10 drops of it. If you start with 10 drops of some things on the first day, again, your child can just go wild out of control because it'll do too much too quickly. There are some things that we start literally at 1 drop a day. That is very, very common. It's normal, and you go on your timeline. This is individualized because you are working with your child at home. You know best. And I help educate you. And yes, the forum's there to ask me your questions 24/7 whenever you have them. So remember, support is always available, and asking specific questions about your child's needs at any given time is always available to you in the program. And so that is there for you, because if you are working with your child going forward and you're wondering, I feel stuck, or they seem like they've got, this something new going on, and what might this be, or you need some help, then usually the answer is already in the forum, because a lot of parents have Q&A are the same, and so we archive everything so you can look that up. But if you can't find your answer, you just ask me in the forum. I get back to you within 24 hours. So that is, pretty exceptional to be able to offer, and without an extra fee. It's all included in your membership. Everything that the membership offers you, and the option to pay monthly or annually. And what that is right on the page at naturallyrecoveringautism.com/success. People say, how do I, how often, how soon do I get access? Okay, you get access immediately. As soon as you submit the form, you'll get an email from me within 5 minutes. And in that email, it'll give you your first steps along with your login details to the privacy protected membership site. Once you're in the site, it shows you where to go. There's a start here page, which gives you short little videos that are less than 5 minutes that you can watch to show you the lay of the land, how to ask a question in the forum, how to navigate the membership site. Then you go to the introduction page, which shows you how to get started with the quick guide, plain and simple. And then you go to the first page that it tells you to go to for the supplements to begin those. And you do them, as I said, on your timeline. There's no hurrying up here. There's no keeping up. Everybody is pressed for time. I absolutely 100% understand that. And it is, again, why I created this program, to save you time and expense of trying to figure it out on your own. You just follow it. You learn, you do one thing, and if you're busy, you go off and you do whatever you got to do. You don't have to sit there and read everything in the site. You're doing what you need to do as you need to do it. And that's it. When you're ready for the next step and the next piece, then you move on to that. You can learn from the educational pages at your leisure, because there's a lot of very helpful, informative knowledge there for you. As I mentioned, with my almost basically close to 40 years of holistic body work, craniosacral work studying the brain, and then the 20 years of autism research. I bring all of this for you, but I give it to you in step-by-step bites so you can learn at your leisure what you need at the time you need it. And it doesn't have to take much time for you at all. Okay, this isn't like you have to learn everything first. You go in and you just start implementing as we go. And I teach you on each page how to do that. So you have the knowledge as you need it. And again, I know time is pressing. I know finances are pressing. I have lived that personally. And this is so doable for everybody. It is, again, less than a cup of a coffee a day would cost you. And also, it's done on your child's timeline. You watch your child, and if you notice after you begin a new supplement from the program, which I give you the direct link to purchase from the company, not from me, from the company it comes from, and many of them have offered discount codes. I've contacted them, asked for discount codes for us. Many have graciously given them. So the discount code and the link to purchase is on the page for you when you get to it, which that page explains what the product does, why we're using it in a very, very quick, like less than 5-minute video. And it's also written in text so that you have those for, some people learn better by reading, some people learn better visually or auditorily. So that way, all of it's covered and you can choose what works best for you. Just to review everything as you do it, and then you purchase the product. And then when it comes, right there on the page are all of the usage guidelines of what to do with it and how to begin it, because beginning it is very different than what we're going to be working up to when we get to your child's full dosage for their age, because it's different too for everybody, right? That's definitely. Steffi, you're so welcome. I appreciate you guys too. I really do. Uh, your daughter is nonverbal and I'm struggling. And Steffi, this is so common. Over 40% of children with autism are nonverbal. Others might have one or two words. One mom found me when her son, and I believe I may have shared this in the webinar, her son was 27 years old when she found me. Her son had been diagnosed at age 2. And she said, her words, we'd been struggling and trying so hard for so long, not getting results. 25 years later, her son's 27 years old. She said, we got to do something. She kept searching. Thankfully, she didn't give up. She found my program online, joined it, started implementing. Her son started reading books with her, finishing reading. And she said, it's music to my ears. I mean, after 25 years, and she's finally getting results. And another boy, Kevin, and you can even listen to my podcast number 182, which is at naturallyrecoveringautism.com/182. And his mom, Kevin's mom, Mary, shares the story about Kevin being 13 years old, hiding underneath the desk at school. Now, 13 years old, he's in middle school, right? This is a big guy. He's not a little kid. He's hiding under the desk at school, biting and kicking other kids, terrified of them, anxiety attacks, out of control, couldn't function. She's constantly missing work, which is hard for her, being called by the school to come pick him up, to take him home because he was unmanageable at school. She was worried about his education, his future, everything, right? We all know it's terrifying. What are we going to do? And she said, when I found your program, Karen, I was literally at the end of my rope. At this point, when Kevin was 13, still biting and kicking and hitting other kids in anxiety attacks and not being able to learn in school, she had been working with a functional medical doctor for 4 years, spent a ton of money, didn't get much in results. And she said, I was at the end of my rope. I thought, what am I going to do? I thought I'd done everything, right? As I know you might be thinking too, I've probably done everything, Karen. We do things differently and we do things thoroughly in my program. And so she joined the program. Oh my gosh. She's in her 3rd year of the program. In the first year, she noticed tremendous results already. But I just want to skip forward to where he is now. Kevin is now 16. He is in regular classrooms. He's on the honor roll at school. He is the teen leader in his summer youth camp. All of the kids love him. She says he's so happy now and so calm. This is what we are looking for. Happy, healthy, living to their full potential, being able to live a quality life. right? What Kevin was at age 13 was not a quality life. What he is at today absolutely is 100% better quality than he had before. And his mom gratefully has continued to just keep going because she wants to keep those results and continue to see what better results can come because this is human biology. We know it takes time, right? It's not something that's a band aid or an overnight fix, or we have to have realistic expectations. But you may have already thought that, as Mary did with working with this functional medical doctor for 4 years, and she said no results, and then she gets results in my program in her first year. She had tremendous results, and she kept going, and now Kevin's life has completely changed, and I'm so grateful that she as a mom didn't give up, just like you haven't given up, being here to learn, watching the webinar, looking at joining the program. And I know you've probably thinking, how is this different? I've tried everything. And that is what I explain in the webinar and what I've hopefully, gotten through today here with you as well. We do things very differently. We use proprietary formulas and things that actually work for these co-infections and detoxifying properly. I show you how to do things in the right sequence. There is a very sequential step-by-step process to what I teach you. And it's very important because it's not only for the most effective way, but it's for the safest way to do it forward. This is what's very important. Anita, how long does the parasite protocol take? How do you know when it's safe to give it? So there is a little caveat on the first page where we begin the supplements, and that'll be the toxin binders page. And at the bottom is a PDF that says how to begin with a known parasite infection, because you're right, Anita, it is very common, and it is something we need to jump on a little sooner than later. So I give you the guidelines of this specific elixir that can be implemented once you get a few of the initial toxin binders and a couple things on that toxin binder page going, so that we have a little support in place. But I start with an elixir that actually helps to make the body an inhospitable place for the parasites. It makes the parasites not want to be in the body, so they start to excrete without dying. Now, this is fantastic because, again, we're reducing the load of the parasites. They excrete through urine, feces, and skin. We are not having them die, so they're not increasing the die-off reaction in the body. And so when we get to later on a couple other elixirs and herbal formulas that we target them more directly in fighting this, so this is all a process. We're going to be doing that elixir for usually a month, couple months or so before, then getting into the ones where I call the fighters that are targeting them. And those will kill. And so what we want to do is I'll show you how to do it very specifically, and keeping the support pieces in place. And then that protocol is actually done for a couple of months once you get to full dosage. Then you stop for 30 days, then you do another 30 days. Then I have you put it on your calendar to do it again in 9 months. Why? Because parasites lay eggs and they have a 9-month gestation period, just like we as human beings do. When those eggs hatch from the parasites that we kill now, when the eggs that have already been laid, I know it's kind of gross, when they've been laid and they hatch, then we are targeting them. Again, parasites are something you've got to keep after. And definitely those eggs have to be fought. So again, very thorough. And I show you again sequentially this supplement you're doing first, second, third, fourth. This is the sequential guide, one at a time. You're only adding in one new thing at a time. And I have you at the beginning, lowest dosage. And then I have you wait 2 to 3 days before either adding in something else new at its lowest dosage or increasing the dosage of something you're already on. Why? Well, it might seem obvious, but this is a way for not only to let the body adjust, but also to allow, your child's body to be able to assimilate anything new, so that you can watch for symptoms. Because if you see symptoms increase over, it's been, over a couple of days and you're noticing symptoms are increasing after the last thing that you did, then you don't want to go ahead and add in something new or increase anything. You want to wait. If those symptoms don't subside, even have you slow down, maybe back off, give it a day or two and let the body rest a little bit, and then, then see how they do again. This is a process, and I teach you these baby steps of moving forward so that your child doesn't go into a pounds flare, which is what we really want to do our best to avoid. If you go too quickly forward, then which a lot of parents get really eager, and I get it, but this is where going slow helps you go faster, which is good for you too. It goes on your timeline. There's no hurrying up, and it's safest and most effective to do it that way. A PANS flare, which again I talked about in the webinar, is when the multiple things can cause a PANS flare. Mold uh, exposure, Lyme. They can really trigger the immune system, but also rapid detox. So if there's too much going on too quickly, the immune system becomes overactive. And in a PANS flare, what happens is that the immune system starts attacking the brain. It is really something that, yes, we want to calm that immune system down as quickly as possible. And we are working to avoid that from happening by going slowly forward too. So these things are very important. Incredibly important, of course, proper hydration. You want to be drinking 3 to 4 good gulps of water every 30 minutes. We don't want to drink a glass of water and wait an hour to drink again. And so that's important to remember too. Well hydrated so that it helps to flush the toxins out and they don't start backing up in the system. It's where you can see headaches or increased behaviors. We're working our best to reduce PANS flares, calm reducing inflammation, which is really the key to everything. But we have to get to those root causes and the core of what is causing that inflammation in the first place. And that's where we work with the toxins, the pathogens, and the co-infections, all of these things that I mentioned. Steffi says, and it's not harmful to our little ones. No, everything I use in the program is safe and natural, and I show you how to use it for your child's age. And this is important. So there are a lot of things out there that, people will say, oh, I just started this supplement. What do you think of it? And I'm like, I don't just throw out supplement advice or suggestions or any knowledge, say I know something about it if I haven't fully researched it. I can tell you that everything in my program has been well researched by me. I use it personally, or I have in the past. If I don't still, many of them I still do. My entire family has used them, and still many of them do as well, especially the daily piece for heavy metal detoxification. We have heavy metal exposure every single day in our environment. We want to practice prevention as well. So these things are very important. Demise, what kind of protocols do you recommend for mold? So mold is a big bear, and it's got to be done properly. First of all, eradicate any mold in your home with a professional. I have an entire page dedicated to mold. And so I give you a PDF guide of the best testing place, which you actually can order online. They mail it to your doorstep. You do a sampling piece of it at your home, and it shows you the directions how. You mail it back to the company, and then they email you the results within about 5 days. So because sometimes we suspect maybe, or we don't suspect and we're not sure. And if we can't see it and really smell it, it still could be a problem. And so we have to make sure there isn't mold in the home, because if your child's continually being reinfected, then you've got to get it eradicated and properly and by a specialist. And I give you that information too in the program. How do we eradicate it? I talked in the MET webinar. Again, if anybody missed it, go watch it. It's on the naturallyrecoveringautism.com/success page, along with the link to join the program. And in that, I talk about the staph infection in the nasal passages. It's an antibiotic-resistant staph infection that is caused by the mold biotoxins. And that the sheath between the sinuses and the brain, the blood-brain barrier, is very thin, and this crosses that protective blood-brain barrier, hence why it inflames the brain. This is like extreme brain, mental clarity issues, brain fog, can't think clearly, wake exhausted in the morning, even when you think you should have had a good night's sleep. Parasites are also for that one too. These also, again, with the webinars I showed you, one thing, they all compound the other. So we have to work with all of them. It's not just, oh, we'll just work with this one and leave that out, because they all are compounding each other. So eradicating the home properly, we use a proprietary herbal formula for a nasal spray to get that antibiotic resistant staph infection out of the nasal passages. We use both elixirs and herbal formulas and some other detoxifiers, toxin binders, all of them. It's not just one or two things. We're very thorough because some of the things we use, or many of them, actually, probably all of them, are very broad spectrum. So even though they'll pinpoint and target a specific need, they also generally support overall systems of the body and balancing of the immune system and things like that. So you know that it's only going to help. So it's not like, oh, do I need to use this? It's always beneficial in multiple ways. And so there's a whole piece to doing all of that. And again, it's not just one thing. It's a few different ways that we use it, because most people don't work with mold properly, and that is very, very common. And then it just remains. But you also have to remember to get rid of the exposure. So that's a big key to it as well. The next question usually is, okay, so if my child's still eating bad foods, or we still have mold exposure, or is it still beneficial to do any of these supplements or this program? 100% yes. It is very beneficial. In fact, even more so, because you need some support in place to combat what their body is trying to deal with on its own, and it needs help because it is being bombarded with these toxins and this inflammation and these infections and these pathogens. And we want to support it right now. Today, right now is the best time to do it, before, as you're working with these other pieces that need to get worked with, and as we work with the underlying causes. So yes, it is very important to be working with those things now. So hopefully that has been helpful for you. And in general, that kind of answers, I think, most of the questions that people have about everything. And hopefully you'll get a chance to enroll in the program before it expires. The enrollment's just open for a few days, and there's a timeline on the page with the link here, naturallyrecoveringautism.com/success. So when you go there, you still have the replay for a few more days. And the timeline is there on the page. It'll tell you exactly how many more days from when you're seeing this are left for the page to expire, which will mean then the webinar is no longer available to rewatch, and the enrollment for the program with that link will close. So you need to know that you want to watch that webinar now if you have not yet, or revisit it now while it's available, and definitely enroll in the program before the doors close, because it's important to me that you have the resources that you need now and you get in. And I work with people who are committed. I'm there for you. I give you everything that I can. I've poured my heart and soul into this program, and it's been very, very effective for thousands of people. Over 2,000 people have gone through the program now. We have it in over 40 countries. All you need is Wi-Fi. You can do it from a phone, a laptop, a desktop, doesn't matter. And very, very simplified. I have people in small villages in Africa doing it, effectively getting results, where again, they have no other resources nearby, or other people who weren't getting, maybe they're in the middle of New York City, but they weren't getting any great results with the people they were working with. These are the kinds of things I hear all the time. And I knew, after I had had such great success with my son, that I needed to share this. And I was actually asked by a parent. He said, Karen, I'm so overwhelmed. Can you just please create a program where you can just walk me step by step through what to do? And at the time, this was about 10 and a half years ago, must have been. And I thought, I really need to do this. And it took me a year to create the program. He was my first member. He was a dad. Most of everybody are moms, but dads come in too. He was a dad. He diligently followed that. Oh my gosh, his son has had such phenomenal success. He had just gotten out of his second bout in the hospital when he wrote to me and he said, I can't have my son go. The son was 7, I think, 6 or 7 at the time. He said, I can't have him go back in the hospital again. Doctors didn't know what to do. They gave him a bunch of antibiotics, of course, because that's all they know. And the son had bad reactions to them. He was just worse and worse. He joined the program, he followed it, and now his son is like functioning neurotypically. He has full speech. He's in a regular classroom with friends. I mean, again, we just want the best for our kids. And I want you to know where to find the resources and to have the support to get the best for your child. And that is what I have created the Naturally Recovering Autism membership program for. It is for you as a parent to be able to follow it in a sequential guide. It's an A to Z roadmap, and I give you the resources that you need and the support and guidance. So hopefully it's helpful for you, because it's been helpful for so many people. And I really, really want you to join it because I don't want to know that you're out there searching around or spending a bunch of money on things you don't need or don't know how to use or that don't work, and and not getting your child better because they're getting older every single day. And I know that urgency. I lived with it myself, and my son wasn't diagnosed until he was almost 10. Yeah. And people's like, oh, my child's 10 or my child's 15, or it's never too late. And we're going to find out what child's best results can be. And this program is bar none the best way that I can help you 100%. um, Denise, do you think OTA mold comes from food or environments? It can come from both. Environmental mold is usually our biggest exposure. Water damaged buildings. It can be hidden in walls that because it really absorbs into like drywall. We have exposure to it, and then 29% of the world population has a genetic defect that doesn't allow us to dispel mold when we're exposed to water damaged buildings. So, or water damage from that or mold. And so then the body, the immune system is constantly trying to fight it and constantly trying to fight it. So it's throwing out more inflammatory markers, hence the nickname of chronic inflammatory response syndrome. And it's not getting able to dispel the mold, so that builds up and grows in the body. And you also then that the inflammation continues to build in the body. So the brain's inflamed. It affects the hormonal system. It eats up the gut. You think, well, I've had my child on a really good diet for a long time. You think it's good because I have a lot to teach you about nutrition in this program, I promise you. And then it's like, well, what? Because I mentioned in the webinar, again, if you didn't see it, go watch it, but how mold, Lyme, glyphosate, heavy metals, candida, all of these things are damaging the gut lining and creating leaky gut and weakening it and limiting the absorption of the foods they are eating. And these pathogens, all of these things. So we have to work with it all. If something is missed, it can be the vital missing link. And I don't want that from you happening for you in my program, because I want you to get the optimum results for your child, whatever they may be. And we don't know until everything has been done, and everything has been done thoroughly and properly. So join the program, start from the beginning. Like I said, once you join, you'll have an email within 5 minutes from me. If you don't see it there, check your junk folder because it should be there. If you have additional questions about anything, you can write us at support@naturallyrecoveringautism.com. That email should be there within 5 minutes, and then it will give you, again, your login details to the privacy protected membership site and show you your first steps and what to do. Steffi, so where to start? Do we have to continue, or we just learn once and carry on? I'm very interested, just not sure I can stay on the program. Well, it's a thing where you say, well, do I want to just do a little bit, or do I want to be thorough? And this is where the difference is. So you want to be able to be thorough in the program. And that's why, I lay it out the way that I do. because there has to be, commitment to continuing behind it. You don't want to just get a little bit of great results and then stop, so that's where, you know, you choose there for yourself. But I have a plan on everybody to I plan on everybody to get the best results, and that means being thorough enough to do so. It does take that kind of commitment. You're the one implementing. I can guide you, but I can't, I'm not, there saying, do this, or putting drops in your child's mouth or in a glass of water to have them drink, right? So that's where, it is up to you to implement. But I'll show you this time, because you go to a practitioner like these other parents that multiple stories. You come home, you got a handful of supplements, give these to your child. You still have to do it at home, but you don't know what you're doing because you haven't had the education, you haven't had the right knowledge of how to use that product, what to do, how to slow down if it's too much, what dosage, not to start multiple things on one day. All of this I give to you in the program. And so that's where, I make it so that everybody can get the best results. I hope that's really, really the goal here, right? And save you the time and money. How much does it cost? And do I have a payment plan? You have the option of paying annually or monthly. And it is all written on the page at naturallyrecoveringautism.com/success. So please go to that page now, click the link to learn about, to join the program, and you'll see the options there and know what to choose, the option that works best for you. And that is basically it in a nutshell. It's very, very simple. The page at Success here also gives you a good idea of what is in the modules of the program and what we go through. I've pretty much covered it here, but you can see more there. And I talk about it more also in the webinar at the end of it, after I talk about the 4-stage process. So again, that's there to still watch the replay and revisit it if you haven't watched it yet, or if you've already watched it but want to watch it again and re-listen to something. And then the link to join the program and things written about the program and what it offers you and what's inside are also, everything is at naturallyrecoveringautism.com/success on that page. So you can read about everything, learn about everything, click the link to join. It'll give you the payment options. You choose the one that works best for you, and just click submit. And within 5 minutes, you'll have that email, and like I said, with your login details and your first steps to get started. And that's basically everything that there is to it. So follow the steps, follow the sequence. Know that if you're inside and you have questions, just ask me in the forum, like I said, and I'll get back to you 24/7. 24/7, you can ask. I get back to you within 24 hours. Often sooner, but I like to say that because I'm in the US on Pacific time, and maybe somebody's in the UK, and when they are waking up in the morning, I'm going to sleep at night, or vice versa. So anyway, the program has been very, very effective for so many people in the 9.5 years that it's been going strong. So it's not just a brand new thing, or maybe this will work. If you do things thoroughly, properly, if it can be effective, and we'll see what the best results for your child can be. And that's what I want to see. That is the number one goal, is to help your child live their happiest, healthiest life possible. To explain the course, the difference between PANS and autism. PANS and autism, PANS is a pediatric autoimmune neuropsychiatric syndrome, sometimes associated with strep, not always. So basically, that PANS is just an autoimmune reaction that attacks the brain, causes heavy OCD symptoms, causes increased stimming, clinginess, fearfulness. That is because the immune system's gotten overactive. That is not autism. Autism is basically, where the DSM has labeled symptoms of, limited eye contact and, problems with language and verbal and social abilities. And they're basically a lump of symptoms that say your child has this at which level. What we do is we work with the underlying causes of those symptoms. What causes these symptoms? So if PANS is causing your child's OCD, and we work with the PANS and calm the immune system down, again, core issue being the immune system overactivity, then those OCD symptoms are going to calm down. OCD is also part of heavy metal toxicity and other things. So again, it's never just one thing. And it doesn't make up what autism is. These are just underlying causes of the symptoms that are used to diagnose autism. When, like my son, when they go away, what is it? What do you call it? I don't even care what it's called. It's not about having a diagnosis or not a diagnosis or this, that. It's about, you know, increasing their verbal ability or their writing ability, their ability to learn and focus in a classroom and be happy, be healthy, be able to make friends at school, be able to be independent someday, all of these things we're working at our best goals possible for our child. And we're going to know what that is. And we won't know until everything's been done thoroughly and properly. And that is so, so important to remember. That is why patience is key in this process, because it's not an overnight fix or band-aid, right? We're working with core underlying issues in their biology that are causing all of these things that are very, very unhealthy on their gut, their systems of their body, their brain. We want to work with them thoroughly so they can be the healthiest, and then which makes them happiest and living to their full potential. So that is everything. It is what our goal is. I really appreciate you being here today. Thank you for your questions, your insight, listening, the willingness to learn for your child. Go learn more if you missed the webinar, you want to revisit it, learn what the program offers you, and get the link to enroll right now. Again, for a limited time, while enrollment is open, just shortly. So please go to naturallyrecoveringautism.com/success and join today. And I really look forward to seeing you on this inside. Thanks so much for being here. Have a great